Well, I'm here after almost 10 years of planning, procrastination, pandemics. I'm finally here in Brazil in 2025. I meant to come here a long time ago, but I have a long list of excuses, one of them being a pandemic. There was safety issues that I was concerned about, lots of things. Life kind of got in the way. I did prepare. I spent 3 years or so being really serious about it. Probably about 3 years ago, I started to study Portuguese. Hi, I'm Dennis from Groove Art. I make music while wandering the world, and right now I'm wandering around Brazil. If you're interested in hearing some of my original music, please have a listen down. Check out the links below and check out my songs. Depending on when you see this, there may only be one song up there right now, but there are more coming. So why Brazil? Why did it take me 10 years before I came here? As a musician, Brazil is so rich in music. They have a wide variety of music, lots of different styles, many of which I have heard before but don't necessarily know the names. Some of the more popular styles would be samba, bossa nova, there's forró, there's countless others. The cool thing about Brazil is there is so many different types of music, but it's the rhythms. They can make some of the simplest things sound so cool with the rhythms they have. There's so many different instruments here, and I'm trying to hold myself back from buying them all. It's very tempting. They're not necessarily easy to play. Some of them take years to perfect. But I'm basically here in Brazil for music. I'm considering living here, and I'm spending some time exploring, looking around, seeing where I like, what I like, and if it suits the way I like to live. So Brazil has been on the list for a long, long time. This is actually my second time in Brazil. My first time was just late last year in 2024. I went to Sao Paulo, spent a bit of time there. Rio has been on my bucket list for a long time, so I finally made it and got to do most of what I wanted to do. It's a crazy city in terms of the amount of things that are available to do there and what to see, what to do. I didn't have enough time. I was on I had 12 days there, but it really wasn't enough, especially for what I was trying to do. But it's a beautiful, physically beautiful place to be, and you can't fault it for that. I did have some concern about safety, and I do have another video, which you can see in the link below, that talks about that a little bit more. But here I just kind of want to talk about Rio on its own. My time there, I didn't do the typical tourist things, as I generally don't. I'm really about writing music and being inspired by the area that I'm in. No shortage of that there. I did a music workshop with a group called Samba Meets Jazz, and made some friends there, and actually did some singing. We spent a week preparing songs, and although I'm a bass player, I decided to do a kind of a singing track, and it was very challenging. Singing is probably the part of my musicality that requires the most work, but I took the challenge and I sang. We all performed at a club at the end of the week, and that's what I did. So that took up 6 full days where I could really not think about anything else. I was quite committed to learning my parts, and I sang all in Portuguese, so that's another layer of practice that's required. It's not so much the Portuguese per se, but it's the syllables and where you place your beats and everything, so I had to work on that a little bit. So that took up the first six days that I had there. I think I had about 4 or 5 days on my own outside of that, but still didn't have enough time to do what I wanted to do. So some things that I did there, I was on the bike every day, as I always am, and just wandering around, kind of getting lost. I didn't wander out too far, but seriously, Rio has some unbelievable views. They have some great lookout points where you can spend all day up there if you wish. Most people don't. They spend maybe an hour up there at most. But with my drone and just checking out all the different views up there, that's what I did. I spent probably about 2 or 3 hours up there. There's Sugarloaf, which also has some amazing views, but you can't really fly a drone up there. But still some beautiful views up there. So what else did I do? I was there just before Carnival was starting. So I left just as Carnival was starting. A couple of reasons. Number one, I kind of got priced out. The apartments, hotels, Airbnbs, they double and actually sometimes triple in price. I also didn't book my trip to Rio until quite late, maybe only a couple of months beforehand. So everybody who wanted to go, they already had kind of the prime locations and had already locked up. So there were things available like a little bit further away. The second reason is, for me, the crowds, I don't need to experience that. I'm too old for that stuff. Having said that, a friend recommended to see the samba rehearsals. So Carnival is really a bunch of samba schools, and they all compete, and they go to all ends to win. And I don't know what the categories of judging are, but there's costumes, there's the music. So they have rehearsals, and I think it's for about 10 days, maybe 2 weeks before Carnival starts. They have a rehearsal, or they have rehearsals. And I went on the last day, at the last few hours. I only realized it was the last day at the last moment, so I kind of had to drop my plans and rush over there. I got there at around 8 o'clock at night, or 8:30 or so, and I hung out till I think 10:30. But that was an experience. So I went to see the rehearsals. There was this enormous structure called the Sambadromo, or the Sambadrome, Sambadromo in Portuguese. This enormous structure. I couldn't believe how big it was, but it was, I'm going to say, 4 to 5 city blocks long. It's basically a long street that mimics the street that the parade is going to go on. And there are bleachers, or it's a stadium, so there's stadium seating on both sides. And I don't know what the capacity is, but it's many thousands of people there. It was just enormous. It was breathtaking how big it was. And the performers, I'm going to say there was about 2,000 people on the street, which is just for performers. That's not audience members. That's just the performers. I'm going to say there's 2,000 people on there. That's a wild guess, but it was kind of crazy. I did feel a little bit insecure that I would fall, and worse yet, fall on somebody else. So everybody's standing up, and there's steps that normally people would be sitting down, I guess, but in this case everyone's standing up, dancing to the music. Everyone's really excited, having a lot of fun. But I only had a small footprint for my feet to stand on. Every other square inch down there is taken up, and plus it's a stair, or it's a steps, and people behind me are trying to squeeze through and get by, and I'm losing my balance, and I'm putting my hand out in front of the people in front of me. They're getting annoyed because I keep bumping into them. But luckily I didn't fall, but it was a little bit scary to have that many people. Certainly the pandemic attitude is past. Actually, what somebody did tell me, they said that this year's Carnival was expected to be big, or really, really good, because every year they skipped the Carnival for 1 year during the pandemic, and it came back, but of course everyone's still a little bit concerned. So the following ones were a little bit light, and they built it up slowly, but this was the year that apparently they went all out. And if the crowds at the rehearsals were any indication, it was crazy. So the final rehearsal was really cool because they do a full dress rehearsal, so they had full-on costumes. So that was a really good experience. I really enjoyed that. just hanging out here in Brazil, in Rio. I'm hanging out in a park. I think the park's called Flamingo. There's this beautiful bay area here. You can see Sugarloaf in the background. Some beautiful views from up there. This water here is a little bit, it's not exactly inviting. As you can see here, this water might be hard to see from here. But we're in a little bit of a bay here, so this water doesn't really exchange out. There's actually a beach at the end of this bay, and there's hardly anybody there. But it's a big marina there, lots of boats hanging out. Here is Sugarloaf, so you actually need to take 2 cable cars to get up there. 2 cable cars to get up there. Beautiful views. It's actually breathtaking. You can see so much from up there. The vibe in Rio is, in my opinion, one of kind of a party atmosphere, like just enjoy life. It's a beach culture, everybody's at the beach. The beach is more than just a beach that I've seen. I've seen lots of beaches in my days. I'm a bit of a beach snob, a beach connoisseur, and these guys know what they're doing. They don't fool around. The beach is, it's a meeting place, it's the hangout, it's where you meet your friends, it's where people play sports, people practice sports. They're practicing, so they have a sport called foot volley, and it's basically volleyball, and but you use your feet, and they have training. There's people out there, there's coaches out there training. There are people working out at the beach. They have an improvised, not improvised, sorry. They have a gym set outside for people to use, and people are out there working out. There's people running along the path, biking along the path, which is what I did. So the beach it's a big deal. And there's traffic going up and down Avenue Atlantica kind of all hours of the day. It kind of cools down around midnight, but there is generally a lot of traffic there all day long. But the beach is the place. At nighttime, the lights come on, you can see the entire beach. You can hang out there all night if you want. It's clean for the amount of people that are there. There's people, the city cleans up, and it's kept quite clean for the amount of traffic that's there. Along the beach, there's lots of these things called kiosks, which are small little restaurants along the beach. They have live music there, which is a big part of the reason why I went. I regret that I didn't really get to spend time sitting there and to listen specifically to that music, but as I was riding by on my bike, lots of great music, singing, lots of great rhythms. But Rio is a center for music, all types of music as well. So I did go to one great club there and saw a wonderful jazz funk band there, and really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that. There was an older lady there that I met, who I think she said she was very proud to be there, but she she was more than 90 years old, just to see this band. And everybody there, it's kind of a young crowd. She's probably the only one who's 90 that was there. But she was very proud to be there, and she very proudly stated that she had hired that band for her 90th birthday. So I don't know how long ago that was, but so we know that she's more than 90, at least 90 years old. So that was a really kind of a fun thing. But that's what I like about Brazil is it's just kind of a very accepting culture, and there's no judgment and everything. So I really enjoyed that. So I saw that music there, and lots of other smaller acts all throughout the city, happening kind of during the day, but wonderful. Saw our singing teacher from Samba Meets Jazz, saw her singing at the Blue Note, so that was a real nice treat. So lots of music everywhere. So I kind of checked that box off. Obviously I could have seen more, but it's one of those things where there's so many things to do, you have to kind of choose which ones you're going to do. So that's my experience there with music. That about wraps it up. I think the biggest thing for me for Rio is it's just such a beautiful place, and I couldn't stop launching the drone because there was so many beautiful places, so many beautiful views that I wanted to capture, and I can't show them all to you here because there's just not enough time. But it's awe-inspiring, really, the views. And maybe a very, very close second would be music, but I don't think music is specific to Rio. I'm running around all throughout Brazil, and I'm going to be checking out music everywhere I go. So I don't think Rio has the exclusive market on the music here. It's just music in Brazil. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it to further up north on this particular trip, but the music starts to get a little different as we go further up north into areas like Salvador and things like that. So I'm not going to promise I'll get there on this trip, but that's definitely on the list. So that's it for me for now. Check out my music again on the link below, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.